Hello, welcome to Intro to CAD, the first lesson recording, and the session topic is Dimensions Part 2. All right. First thing I need you to do is to go to Web Campus and search for the Class 8. Everything under Class 8. I need you to download the lesson topic. The file, you'll need this file to conduct this lesson. Of course, you'll need AutoCAD. So I'm hoping that you were able to get a computer and download AutoCAD 2020. I will have sent you instructions how to do that prior to this lesson. So I'm hoping you worked that out. Also, the arch test drawing. That's the drawing that we would periodically open up in class. And so my volume is very low. Okay, so that's the recording that file that we would open up periodically in class that we drew a architectural size rectangle. It was with limits of 96 feet by 72 feet, a quarter-inch to the foot for an 24 by 18 sheet size. And we would open that up. We did when we learned for limits. We did when we learned for layers for the LT scale. We did when we learned for text heights. And now we're going to need that when we learn how to create a dimension file for a larger scale, an architectural scale. Okay, so have that downloaded and open it, or have it in the background ready to be opened. And then you're going to need this PDF file. It's about a 10-page document. Open this up right now. That has dimension styles for both mechanical and architectural. So the first part of this is from mechanical people. It's creating a dimension style for plus and minus limits. We'll get to that now. So there's a bunch of pages on that. Then there's an architectural dimension style, and there's multiple steps. Make sure you download that and print it out. This would be the outcome of your dimension style. Then there's the same thing for civil engineering, right? Civil dimension style, where this would be your outcome. It's a common dimension style for civil engineering. Then I have what I call cheat sheets. And we'll come back to this. This is going to be a helpful chart for a lot of things we've been doing through the semester. Now it will make a whole lot more sense. I'm hoping your reaction would be, why didn't you show me this sooner to use this? To me, then I've accomplished my goal. Because if I handed this out in the beginning of the semester, you wouldn't even know what these numbers meant. All right, so I've got one for architectural and one for civil. Okay, we'll come back to that. All right. So the last thing is the actual assignment. The assignment that you're going to have to create a floor plan. You're going to have to create a dimension style in that floor plan, and then email me that back. And that's going to be the first drawing that will be on our 18 by 12 title block that we did before the semester break. Okay, so once again, this whole block of lesson 8 information you're going to need to proceed with the lesson. All right, with that said, let's jump on in. Now, this is the class file that we needed, or you need, the Dimension 2 lecture file called DIM2. Right? So that's the one you have to download and open up, and this is that file called DIM2. So when you open up this drawing, let's zoom on in, and we're going to just progress all the way across. Now, the advantage you have with this online lesson is you can pause or stop the recording at any point to take notes. But based on the midterm exam, some of you need to be taking notes so that you have something to study from when the final exam comes around, right? So we'll talk about that in more detail later. All right, so here's what you need to do. Zoom into the align. Now we're going to be creating dimensions, and we're going to be using the method that you'll see here called align. Now, prior to this session, we learned in Dimension Part 1 that all of our dimensioning methods are up in this list, and I'm going to select to open that list, and you'll see align. Okay? So select that. Now, to produce an aligned dimension, the question is, why would I need that? What is that? And what it's going to do is it's going to create a dimension where your dimension line is parallel to the surface you're dimensioning, in which case you'll have the true length of that surface. If I try to use linear and I try to dimension that, I'm either going to get a horizontal amount or a vertical amount. Neither of those two are the true length. I go to align and I press enter. I don't have to snap to the two extension line or press enter. Now I'm selecting that line and I bring my mouse out and click. Okay? So the true length of this is 3.035. And on occasion you will need to do that. Alright, so it's as simple as that. So most of these, it's a matter of understanding when you would need them. What we learned in Dimension Part 1 is all of the most commonly used, right? The linear, the diameter, the radius, the angular. But these are secondary, more advanced methods of dimension. Though that was a simple execution of creating that, it's the need for it is not as common as the aforementioned one. All right, so let's go over to rotated. Now this one is probably, of all of the methods we're going to learn today, the least used. And because of that, it's often the hardest one to use because you forget how to use it. All right, so what we're going to do is notice it's the same shape, but it's in a rotated orientation. Now, I'm going to show you what we're going to do before we do it. In this scenario, I might want to know what the length of this edge is here, which is really a horizontal amount if this thing is sitting down flat, or the vertical height of that edge. So this or this, we're going to create with the aligned method. Now, notice what these two have in common. It's parallel to existing surfaces. Okay? So this one has that and that parallel. This one has this line or this line parallel. That's going to come into play in a minute. All right, so how do we use this? You're going to notice that there is no choice called rotated, which is the first thing that confuses us. We don't use this often. When looking for a button with that on it, you're not going to find it. You're actually going to use linear. Okay? We're going to select linear. And our command prompt responds the same, and we've already done this. So we can actually, at this point, even press enter to select and pick on that surface. So far we've done everything for linear, and your reaction might be, well, wait a minute, this is not going to give me what I want based upon what I'm seeing. But look down at your command prompt. It's kind of sneaky. All the way down at the end here is my rotated option. All this stuff was there, I just never pointed it out. So now we need to select rotate. Okay? I'm going to pick rotate, and the dimension disappears, which makes us feel like, oh, what did we do wrong? We didn't do anything wrong. Once again, look at your command prompt. It's asking us another question. So it's saying specify angle of dimension line. Now, in English, that means if this is what I want, what is this angle on this line right now? I don't know what that is, and I don't want to know. And I'm going to make AutoCAD tell me with this next step. Now, keep in mind, I want on that angle, and remember I pointed out that what do I have in my drawing that is that angle? This line or this line. So what I can do now is snap to the end point of that line on the bottom of it and on the top of it. What that does is it orients the dimension line through that angle. And guess what? If I drift my mouse out change to the other end. So really, in the end, I could have snapped to the endpoints of this line, or this line, and gotten what I want. I just couldn't snap to the endpoints of that. All right? So let's say we move our mouse out and click right. Okay? So if need be, rewind the video and slow it down and write those steps. Because I guarantee you, a day from now, a week, a month, you'll never remember those steps. That's the key thing with AutoCAD, is keeping a kind of a collection in your mind of these options, and when you do need it, you can get there. You can draw from your notes. All right, next, I'm going to go over to baseline. Now, baseline is specialized more so for mechanical, but it could be used for any discipline. What baseline means is I have to declare a baseline. Not literally, we'll see how that works out. And any time I create a dimension, the left extension line is going to come off of this line. So an example of baseline would be something like this, where I want to know the width of that step, the width from the left edge to there, and then, of course, the overall. Gives me my dimension. The left side are always connected to this left edge, which would be the baseline. Okay? Now, how we do that is a little different from our regular stream of dimensioning. So this is where these are tricky, remembering the setup. You can see that that's a common thing. All of these have some kind of a different setup. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I have to use linear. Select linear. Only what I need to do differently this time is I can't press enter to click on this line. I have to literally snap that as my first extension line, snap that as my second, bring my dimension up and click. And by snapping to this as my first extension line, that in fact is to tell AutoCAD that that's my baseline edge. Now I need to use the baseline thing, and to our frustration, there is no baseline button. Okay, so what I need to do is I have to go to my ribbon in the annotate category. Okay, so I don't think we've been here yet. I'm going to select annotate. They really bury this there, which I'm not real happy. But what I have to do is select the continue, and then here's the baseline, final. All right, so I'm selecting baseline, and I'm coming over to the upper right corner of my second step. Now look what happens here. It automatically connects to my left side. When I come down here and snap to this step,